Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Chess this week. Uh, am I muted? No, yeah, it's all live. So good to be back. Happy New Year, everyone! The first stream, the first video of 2023, and it is the chess this week because even streamers are allowed some time off during the last week of December, the New Year. So chat. It is the chess this week, and let's dive right into it. Starting with the World Rapid Championship, where I also played the World Rapid and Blitz. Now, this was all about Magnus Carlsen. He won both the World Rapid as well as the World Blitz. As you can see, this is the World Rapid standings. Magnus Carlsen standing tall, the first place, and Vincent Kiemer performed creditably. He finished second, and Fabiano Caruana got the silver. But Magnus Carlsen was completely dominant in the rapid, and he started off with a bit of a shaky win, but he just kept going. 4 wins in a row, a draw against Arjun, and again continued with 5.5 out of 6, a couple of draws, a couple of wins, a loss against Artemiev, but he made up for it with a very nice win in the last round. So this is how he won the uh, 2022 World Rapid Championship. And in the women's, it was won by Tan Zhongyi. So Tan Zhongyi won the first place, but a notable performance from India's Savita Shri, who won the bronze medal. She's just, I think, about 16 years old, and she already won the bronze in the Rapid Championship, the World Rapid Championship, and Dinara Sadvakozova won the silver. So this was the World Rapid Championship. Konero Hampi also fought quite well. She was quite close, but despite having the same score as Savita, her tiebreak was lower, so she finished in the 6th place. And in the Blitz tournament, this was also won by Magnus Carlsen. No surprises there. Although Hikaru, who was the first seed, was leading till after the first day. So he was leading through the halfway, but Magnus just overpowered. Magnus was just OP in this tournament, and he took both the Rapid and the Blitz titles, so that he has a world championship. After relinquishing his classical title, he ran the danger of not having any world championship at all, but he managed to win the Rapid and the Blitz. So this was the World Rapid and Blitz 2022. Magnus winning the Blitz, Hikaru finishing in the second place, and Haik Martirosyan, who had to overcome a very tough opponent in the second round. He finished bronze. And in the Blitz, it was not such a notable performance from our Indian players. Hari Krishna performed the best at 17th, and Nihal at 18th. And in the women's, this was again a spectacular performance from one of the Indian players. Konero Hampi finishing in the second place. She won the silver, and she was down and out after the first day. But a big congratulations to Bibisara Sabieva, who won for the second time in a row. And she's also uh, born in 2004, so just about 18 years old, and she has won the World Blitz Championship back to back. Humpy was down and out after the first day. She started off with a couple of losses first 2 rounds, and then another loss in the 5th round against a much lower rated opponent. And after the first day, she was not feeling great, 5 out of 9. But then look at her second day, win against some pretty strong players, Tanya, Gunay Mamadzada, Gunina. A solitary draw against Harika, but then she went on to defeat everyone else, Olga, Badalka, Paulina Shuvalova, and Tan Zhongyi, the world rapid women's champion, to finish with the silver medal. And Paulina won the bronze medal in the Blitz Championship. That's an overview of the Indian performances. And yes, I'm going to Vike with Arjun, Lucky Joshi. So, an overview of the Indian performances starting from the um, this is the Blitz event. Arjun finishing 42nd with 12 points. Nihal with 13 points in the 18th place. Vidit had a pretty bad run towards the end of the Blitz event, lost the last three rounds, so he finished with only 10 and a half. And Raunak also had a disappointing performance. Hare Krishna was the best of the lot in the Blitz. And Adiban had a topsy-turvy event, 12 points with the 49th place, not too bad. Arvind, 11 and a half, the National Blitz champion. SL, 10 and a half, disappointing for him. Surya had either wins in a row, including defeating Nihal Sarin, or losses in a row. And he, I think he would have preferred to have these last five wins rather than last five losses, finishing with 11 points. Harsha with 8.5, very disappointing for him, I'm sure. And Abhimanyu, 9.5. These are all filled with disappointments. I managed to scrape my way through to 10 points. Not pretty. Pranav with 11.5, which was decent. He played quite well through parts of it. Sankalp, Arjun also having forgettable events. And in the women's, Humpy, of course, was a showstopper. But the rest of the players not quite finishing there at the top the way they would have wanted to. Harika with 10.5, Savita with 9.5. Pretty decent performances, but I'm sure they would have preferred to finish a bit higher. And Tanya with 10 and Padmini with 10.5. So this was the Blitz Championship. And in the rapid, the Indian performances. Let's get an overview of the. Yeah. So in the rapid, the Indian performances. Vedant and Surya had pretty decent performances, scoring 8.5 and finishing 15th and 20th respectively, which, with the exception of Arjun and Nihal, who had 9 and 8.5 respectively, finishing Arjun finishing 5th and Nihal 9th. But apart from that, everyone else scored pretty low in the open section. Hari Krishna with 7 points at 78th position, SL with 7, and Arvind with only 6 points, not even in the top 100. The same with Harsha with 5.5, and Abhimanyu 6.5, Adiban 7, Raunak with 8 points. I myself 5.5. I really struggled through the tournament, but provided decent content for Chessbase India in between. And Pranav with 7, Arjun with 5, Arjun Kalyan. So Arjun finishing at the top and Arjun finishing at the bottom as well for Indians. And Sankalp with 6 points. Amongst women, again, it was pretty disappointing for most of them except Savita, who performed exceptionally well. So congratulations to both Savita and Humpy for their performances in the World Rapid and Blitz. Now moving on. So this was the story of the World Rapid and Blitz, pretty much the last tournament of 2022. Moving on to the national championships. Now this was pretty interesting. This was a pretty interesting tournament, which was won by Karthik V8 with 10 out of 13. This started out as a bit of a race between Abhijit Gupta and Sethuraman. They were leading through the top parts of the tournament. Abhijit had a few early wins. Then Setu defeated him in their head-to-head encounter. And at some point, Setu was in the lead. But towards the end, Karthik overtook them. And he won this tournament. Abhijit Gupta finishing in the second place, NR Vishak finishing in the third place. So these are the top three winners. Karthik there with this massive trophy, the champion in the middle, and Abhijit in the second place, and Vishak in the third place. Apart from this, another big news out of this tournament is that Kaustav Chatterjee, he became the 78th Grandmaster of India in this tournament. He had a pretty good performance, winning the first four rounds, a loss against Abhijit Gupta. Then he picked up his team with 3 wins in a row, including a win against the first seed, Sethuraman, and thereby he became the 78th Grandmaster, which is not even like the headline of this stream because we already have a 79th Grandmaster. Within one episode of the Chess This Week, two new Grandmasters from India. Moving on to the National Women's Championship. This was won by Divya Deshmukh. This was a fantastic performance. Mary was leading till about the 8th round, and then there was this direct encounter between Divya and Mary. Divya won that game. She took the lead, and then she never let it go. Another convincing win against Sunyukta, a draw against Isha Sharma, and a win against Bhakti in the last round. A convincing win. This gave her the first prize. For the second time in a row, she won the National Women's Championship 2 times in 1 year. And with this, she also qualifies for the Women's World Cup. And this was a fantastic performance from Divya. A big shout out to Mary and Vantika as well. They played fantastically well. All of them increasing rating, all of them playing quite well. And this is the top three lineup of the Women's Championship. Divya there in the middle. Much smaller trophies than their male counterparts, but the prize money was the same. So I don't think they'll be complaining there. Divya in the middle, Mary with the second place, and Vantika, who also had a pretty fantastic tournament. She finished in the third place. So this was the National Women's Championship. And talking about two Grandmasters in 1 week, we also had the Rilton Cup, which was won by another teenager, M. Pranesh. A very dominating performance by Pranesh in Sweden. He's again born in 2006, so he's hardly 16 years old, 17 years old, depending on his birthday. But he had a very nice tournament, losing in the second round, but then winning 7 games in a row to finish with 8 out of 9. He had a very interesting game in the penultimate round against his Norwegian opponent. But once he won that, he was all through. Ritvik played quite well until that point. He was leading, but Pranesh defeated him, took the lead once again, and managed to win this tournament, thereby becoming the 79th Grandmaster of India. This is M. Pranesh, and his coach R.B. Ramesh, Grandmaster R.B. Ramesh, was also full of praises for this wonderful youngster. What an amazing performance by Pranesh. So this was the story of the Rilton Cup for our Indian players, which you can see is highlighted. Pranesh winning the tournament with a 1-point margin. Khan finishing in the second place. Nikita Meshkos finishing in the third place. These are the top three. And the tournament was pretty strong. It was the first seed was Shashi Kiran, and the second seed was Grandmaster Ilyas Mirin. Both of them not in the top 20. So you can imagine how strong it was and how strong the lower rated people, the lower seeded people played throughout this tournament, which has kind of been becoming the trend in recent times. So this was the Rilton Cup and Pranesh, the 79 Grandmaster. With each tournament, we seem to be having a new Grandmaster for India. Not in the Groningen tournament. Now, this was also won by an Indian grandmaster, Pranav Anand. He had a convincing win in this tournament with a score of 7.5 out of 9, not losing a single game and gaining 13 points, moving ever closer to the coveted India number 20 spot. But he will need to work a bit harder to get there. But congratulations to Pranav Anand as well. And I guess that's most of the tournaments this week. But it was not just the tournaments that made the news, but also in another prestigious moment for Indian chess, another proud, happy moment. The Forbes India released India's top 50 outperformers, and this features both Gukesh as well as Vaishali. And very well deserved award for both of these youngsters. Gukesh, in particular, had the performance of a lifetime in the Olympiad. And personally, I also wrote this on a tweet, but personally, I felt that the word showstopper was exquisitely showcased by Gukesh. He literally showed what showstopper means with that 8 out of 8 performance. And Vaishali has also been having success after success in the last year, including winning the Tata Steel Women's Blitz. So, congratulations to both Gukesh and Vaishali. That's all the events that have happened in the previous week. Now, to the moving on to the events that are going to happen in 2023, the events that are going to happen this week especially. Now, the big tournament which is starting from this week is the Tata Steel Chess. This is the first event of the year. And since this is the first chess this week of this year, we'll also have a look at all the tournaments that are set to happen this year. So, but the big one, the one that is starting out January 14 to 29, the Tata Steel Chess Vacancy, featuring 14 of the top players, starting with Magnus Carlsen, still the best player in the world, no longer the classical world champion. Ding Liren, number 2, Fabiano, Anish, Wesley So, the old guard, the top 5. Richard Rapport squeezed in between, but Levan Oronian completing the first half, the old guard at the top, and the second half, the bottom half, all of them lower rated than the first half, but incredibly vicious, starting with Gukesh, the showstopper of the year, Arjun, Parham, Abdusataro, Vincent Kima, who I think beat almost all the Indian top players in the world, Rapid and Blitz, Jordan Van Forest, and Pragnananda, deceptively the last seeded player in this tournament. But we all know that that's not an accurate reflection of his rating. Of course, the Tata Steel tournament will also have the challenges, and here this includes the world's youngest ever Grandmaster Abhimanyu Mishra, as well as a beast from India. So that's also going to be interesting. Now, Adiban has already won this tournament the last time he played, and won his qualification to the Masters. But let's see if he'll be able to do it again. The old beast, older now, but no less vicious, in my opinion. Then there is the NCL in United Kingdom, which is basically the National Chess League in United Kingdom. And from February, there is the Pro Chess League qualifier, February 1 to 3. And from February 10, the main tournament starts. This will feature 16 teams, and it has 2 teams from India, the Indian Yogis and MGD1. I'm part of the MGD1 team, and it says 15 will be announced before it begins. I've already announced 2. Apologies, chess.com and Pro Chess League. But yeah, this is set to happen in February, and it's going to be super exciting through February to March. Then there's also the Women's Grand Prix in Germany. This is part of the Women's World Championship cycle. The previous cycle is not yet complete. There is the finals between Tan Zhongyi against Lei Tinghe, the winner of which will play against Zhu Wenjun in the Women's World Championship. But the next cycle is already on for the next challenger. And Koneru Hampi, India's top player, has expressed some displeasure over the way the Women's World Championship cycle has taken place, for good measure, because it has been quite haphazard. Uh, there has been so many delays in in the cycle, and there has been an abrupt change in the format, which, as far as I know, most of the players were not on board with. And it has been pretty disorganized, not the way a world championship should be organized, and in very sharp contrast to how the open world championship is organized. So understandably, she has expressed some displeasure. At least someone spoke out against it after a long time. And moving on, February 6 to 10 is the chess.com championship 1, which hasn't yet been named. As far as we know, it's going to be a merger of the chess.com global chess championship and the Playing Magnus group's meltwater champion chess tour. So this is being merged, and there's a new $2 million series. So this will take place from February 6 to 10. The qualifiers for this will be on February 4. And of course, the Pro Chess League starts on February 14. This is a pretty good pretty good date for the for things to start in general. Things that generally start in February 14 tends to be quite prosperous. So Pro Chess League took a cue there, and they decided to start on Feb 14. Good choice, Pro Chess League. And on Feb 16 to 26, we have the WR Chess Masters. This will feature Nepo, Anish, Wesley So, Levon. And once again, you have these top players from a slightly older age category, and you have these younger kids. There's, of course, Duda sandwiched in between. He's kind of middle age. But then we have Gukesh, Abdusaturo, Vincent, and Pragnananda, and Andrei Yasipenko completing the ensemble. This is also going to be a super exciting tournament following the Tata Steel. In March, we have the European Chess Championship and the Women's Chess Championship. And the Reykjavik Open will take place between March 29 to April 4. So if you're looking for Tanya's comeback, then that will be in this tournament. And in March, we'll also have the Women's Grand Prix in India, likely to be in Delhi. So once again, if you're looking forward to watching that tournament, it will take place sometime in March, which will also feature the women's candidates final between Lee Tingi and Tan Zhongyi. And in April, we have these big tournaments, the chess.com championship 2, April 3 to 7. But apart from that, we also have the world championship between Nepo versus Ding Liren. So far, not a lot of details out, but it is, the dates are scheduled for between April 7 to 30. And I read somewhere that it might be in Mexico City. And yes, the Women's Grand Prix, it will be, it is scheduled to be held in Telangana. True. In May, we had the Tepe Man and Go, which was won by Hans Niemann last year. Arjun finished in the second place. So this is also another traditional classical tournament from Europe, one of the a species which is on the verge of extinction post-pandemic, but there still remains some of it. The African Individual Championship, May 5 to 14. Dubai Open Sharjah Masters, very strong open tournament, expected to be part of the FIDE circuit. May 22 to 26 is the chess.com championship 3. So I expect the play-in to be on May 20. And on May 25, European Senior Chess Championship. Before you ask me, I'm not eligible to play in that tournament. I'm neither European nor in this age group. Not yet. And May 28, we have this super strong Norway chess, which usually features a classical event followed by an Armageddon. So this is May 28 to June 9, and Magnus Carlsen is likely to take part in this tournament as well. Uh, One of the handful of classical over the board tournaments that he'll be playing in. Another women's Grand Prix on May, the World Under 8 to 18 Rapid and Blitz Championship, June 5 to 12. And June 17 to July 2 is the Mahindra Global Chess League. Now, this is scheduled for this date, and this is also an exciting tournament. Not much details known about it, but from what we know, it's going to feature some of the top players in the world, the top players in India, and it will be over the board. June 20 to 30, Prague International Chess Festival. I'm not sure if they'll have it on the same dates, if it's clashing with the Mahindra Global Chess League, which was a bit of a late entry into the calendar. And I think not many people are aware about it yet. And then June 24 to July 2, we have the Dortmund tournament, which used to be a very prestigious tournament once upon a time. Now they have a no casualing format and some open events. A lot of traditional classical tournaments no longer exist. Dortmund, Grand Chess Classic, and many. So this is also one such tournament. Once again, we have the CCT, ex-CCT Modern Chesscom Championship 4, July 10 to 14. The FIDE World Cup, July 31 to August 26. One of the tournaments for the qualification cycle for the Open World Championship. So this is scheduled to be in Baku, Azerbaijan, and the women's event will also take place parallelly. August, the Chess.com Championship 5 and the Women's World Championship match is also scheduled for the summer, although we don't have a lot of details about it yet, about the location, the sponsor, and things like that. But it's going to be between two Chinese players, so I think it shouldn't be too difficult to get things rolling there. Or maybe it could be. We don't know what how things are back to normal in China yet. September 4 to 15, the European Youth Chess Championship and the Asian Games, which was scheduled to be held just after the Olympiad in 2022, has been postponed by 1 year. And I thought postponed basically means cancelled, especially with this China zero COVID rules. But it seems that it is taking place September 23 to October 8, the Asian Games in China. And this also features chess. So this is a chess board. I don't know if it is big enough to see, but yeah, it features sports like chess, go, shooting, bridge, and skateboarding. The Chess.com Championship 6, September 25 to 29. In October, we have the European Club Cup, as usual, October 1 to 8, and another big tournament, October 23 to November 5, the FIDE Grand Swiss in Isle of Man, which is again part of the World Championship cycle. So this is going to be another big event. The European Team Chess Championship, this is the Olympiad but European teams version. This will be November 10 to 21. And November 12 to 25 is the World Youth Championship for the under 14, 16, and 18 categories, the classical one. And in December, it's going to be the Qatar Masters, which was a grand tournament when it came in the first time. In 2014 and 15, this was played by the likes of Magnus Carlsen, Vladimir Kramnik, and it is returning in 2023 with a prize fund of $100,000. So these are the things which are coming up this year, and it starts with the Tata Steel Chess, January 14 to 29. So those are the upcoming tournaments in 2023. And with that, I think I have recorded all the Chess This Week episodes of 2023, because you know all the tournaments which are coming up, and you just have to click on this link and follow them. But that's this episode of the Chess This Week. And now, chat, you can feel free to engage. Now that we have covered all the events of 2022 and 2023 and caught up with everything. Yeah, it's Asian Games. It's not the Asian Championship, so it's a serious event. End with your round nine game in World Blitz. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that game. I was just completely winning in that game, and things kind of slipped out of control. My opponent was annoying. I'll not. I mean, I should express that because he was trying all sorts of tricks to try and distract me during the game. So I should admit that he was irritating and annoying, and he was doing that all through the tournament. Who's part of MGD1? Arjun, Adiban, Srinath, Surya so far. This is the list so far. Which event are you most excited for? For now, the Tata Steel tournament, which is set to take place in January 14th. So I'll be leaving in about 3 days. My trip starts with Air India, so I guess I should be taking a raincoat or something. I don't know how I'm going to survive that trip. Do let me know if you have any tips and suggestions. I'll be carrying a raincoat. I'll be carrying a change of cloth, and maybe I should even carry some extra diapers for people in case they need it. Tell me more about the MGD1 team. It's still work in progress. We will reveal more about it with time. But for now, yeah, it's going to be Tata Steel. So, yeah, I think that's this episode of the chess this week. I'll come back later sometime on a proper stream where we can engage a bit more. I think I don't know, something's weird with the camera settings. I don't exactly know why. It was okay in the previous screen, but in this screen, it's just gone a bit weird. But anyway, we are ending the stream now, so we'll figure that out for later. Uh, so that's this episode of the chess this week. If you like this episode, do hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll keep posting updates about the vacancy through little shorts or stream wherever I can, but at least small shorts where I update. Let's say I made the trip, so I have managed to reach, and the tournament starting, the pairings, Arjun's results, the other results, AD's results. All these things I'll keep you guys posted on this channel, either through like super short streams, but more likely through little shorts, so that we have all become busy. So less of my time and less of your time as well, but we get the information across. So thank you so much for joining. See you all really soon. Not just next week, but sometime this week as well. See you all. Thank you. Bye bye.